Hey guys, it's Yozora, and today we are going to talk about the Admiral Schröder, the new Tier 9 German premium large cruiser, which will be the final reward of the next dockyard starting with update 0.11.11. And I have to say, well, this ship is a pleasant surprise. I genuinely didn't expect this ship to turn out this good, although I'm a bit sad it was nerfed just at the end. But yeah, she's been performing pretty damn decently and consistently on top of that. So essentially, Schröder is kind of a tier 9 Napoli. I say kind of because there are still some fairly significant differences. As in, well, let's go with the similarities first. So just like the Napoli, the Schröder is a vertically well-armored cruiser with a very heavy secondary armament, great concealment. In the case of Schröder, you're going down to 10.2 kilometers of spotting range by sea, which is pretty damn massive considering her size. And the ship also has great mobility. So in the case of Napoli, she naturally has amazing speed. I think she's reaching 37 knots with the flag. Whereas with Schröder, you are kind of cheating. You are using 15% engine boost that gives her a speed of around 39 knots at best, which is pretty damn nice. Because combined with the great concealment, you can just sneak around, go on flanks, and be in good positions to punish broadsides. Now, when it comes to differences, well, firstly you have the consumable kit, which is very different. In the case of Schröder, as I said before, you had the engine boosts, whereas with the Napoli you have the fuel smoke to disengage whenever she wants, and you also have on the Schröder nitro acoustic search, which is incredibly useful because it's the German one with 60 meters range. And considering that the ship does like closing the distance, it's always nice to have, an early warning for torpedoes or being able to catch stuff pens down in smoke. Now, as another difference, as I said before, both ships have a very strong secondary armament. In the case of the Napoli, she has the semi-AP shells with the greatly improved dispersion. Whereas the Schröder, she's taking a different approach. Well, firstly, she has the German improved H penetration. So on the 128, she gets 32 millimeters of penetration, and on the 152, she gets 38 millimeters of penetration. And unlike Napoli, she might not have... Well, she does have the German battleship dispersion on the secondaries, which, it isn't great, but it's still pretty nice to have. And she also doesn't get the reduced range that Napoli was suffering from. With the secondary armament modification 1, you get a 10 kilometers secondary range, so it's pretty much matching your concealment range, which for brawling it's quite achievable. Also, even though she doesn't have the greatest dispersion, well, she has quite a hefty secondary broadside. You have 5 twin 128 millimeters plus on each side 2 triple 152. So yeah, she will be pumping out shells at a fairly decent rate. Now, besides the secondary armament, well, just like the Napoli, actually, her main battery isn't the greatest. In fact, she quite literally has a tier 4 main battery. She has the same guns as on the Kaiser. But, well, of course, she has the battlecruiser dispersion. But since it's tier 4 guns, it comes with its whole lot of issues. For example, you have really bad ballistics, although, well, it's not even that bad. Until 15 kilometers, it's pretty much the same flight time as with the Alaska. And after that, it's getting slightly worse, but, well, you're still able to hit stuff. As another downside, penetration is definitely lacking. She has in fact the lowest 80 penetration among Tier 9 large cruisers. But, well, you might not be able to see the battleships, but at least getting citadels on cruisers will still work fine. And also you will still get penetrations on casemates and superstructure on battleships. Actually, talking about that, having slow shells is sometimes a bit of an advantage. Because another problem of the Schröder is that, well, consider that she basically doesn't have an HE shell. The HE on the Schröder, it's tragically bad. You have low damage, low fire chance, and since you only have 8 guns, yeah, there won't be much alpha damage or DPM. However, when it comes to the AP, since you have slow shells, well, firstly you have a reduced vertical dispersion, because it is linked to the shell velocity. And since the shells are pretty slow, for those hitting the superstructure of enemy ships, if it's big enough, like on the bomber, the shells will have time to detonate inside the superstructure, and even on an angled target you will still get pretty good damage, honestly. So yeah, it might be tier 4 guns, but yeah, they're pretty consistent, honestly. It also helps with the fact that she actually has the lowest reload time among the Tier 9 large cruisers. Second best being the Kronstadt with 18.5, while the Schröder has 18, and the rest it's... I think the third it's only at 20 seconds. But yeah, generally speaking, a rate of fire is pretty good. With the main barrel modification 3, it's going down to 16, a bit less than 16 seconds, which is, in my opinion, more than enough to compensate for the otherwise fairly low damage output, at least the low alpha damage. Now, when it comes to the armor protection, as I was saying before, it isn't as great as the Napoli, because you only, though it's fairly rare at tier 9, you only have 30mm of deck armor, and you don't have an extended belt. But still, you have a pretty heavy protection of the middle section, with a 90mm of upper belt, 180 of main belt, and a fairly effective total back as well. As I said at the start, it was suddenly nerfed. You used to get 80mm, so you were just getting away with literally everything. You could give broadside to any ship, you wouldn't take any citadel damage. But yes, it was nerfed to 28mm. A bit of a shame. But still, overall, as long as it's not notorious HE spammers or battleship ships able to match 30 minutes of armor, it's taking pretty well, honestly. Especially for games where you will face battleships with 380 millimeters main battery. Since it's a German ship, you have the 27 millimeters of bow and stern, so you will be very effectively angling against them. Now, there is one enormous flaw in her design that I need to mention. As you can see, she has no anti-submarine airstrike, which is utterly painful to deal with when you have a submarine around focusing you, because unless you're able to completely run away or there is somehow a way to get close to drop the guy, yeah, there's just nothing you can do. Again, as I'm doing here, close to the distance. But unless the guy is not trying very hard, you will just die trying. So yeah, submarines, they're just your kryptonite, your nemesis, wherever you want to put it. But yeah, otherwise, the Schröder, it's been a very pleasant surprise. Very consistent, no matter what tier was facing. So definitely a ship I recommend trying. So anyway, that's all for me guys. Good luck on the next dockyard and see you later.